By the time I was 45, I was about to become completely irrelevant. I did everything you're supposed to do. I had decades of experience, a fancy title, a stable income. And for what? To get left in the dust. The industry was changing at light speed. Younger colleagues were flying past me, and I was terrified I was going to get aged out of my job. After 20 years of climbing the ladder, I hit a wall. I felt totally obsolete. This entire nightmare was fueled by 5 lies I believed. 5 insane lies that were literally ruining my life. But once I confronted them and destroyed them, everything changed. I went from being on the verge of getting fired to starting a company that helps people in the exact same spot. Today, I am giving you the 5 lies that almost cost me everything. Let's jump into the one that was the absolute worst. You're too old to learn new skills. This lie is insane, and it almost broke me. I would look at a massive opportunity like digital marketing and only see people in their 20s. The world, and even my own brain, was telling me, "Man, you missed that boat. It's over. You can't learn this stuff anymore." I 100% believed my brain was just worse than it used to be, that the window to learn something hard was slammed shut forever. My first try to prove this wrong was a complete disaster. I bought this giant, super technical book on digital strategy and tried to read it. Huge mistake. I couldn't focus. I retained nothing. It was so frustrating, it just proved my biggest fear. I was too old. I threw the book on a shelf and almost gave up right then. The big change came when I learned about this crazy thing called neuroplasticity. It's your brain's incredible power to literally rewire itself throughout your whole life. I learned that an adult brain doesn't learn worse, it just learns differently. Our experience is a huge advantage, letting us connect new ideas to things we already know. My brain wasn't broken, my method was broken. That insight changed everything. My age wasn't a weakness, it was a strength. Digital marketing is too technical. Okay, so I finally believed I could still learn. But then I hit lie number 2. This stuff is way too technical. I looked at things like SEO, Google Ads, and social media algorithms, and it just looked like an impossible mountain of code. My whole career was about talking to people, negotiation, strategy, not programming. I kept telling myself, this isn't for you. You're a strategist, not a tech guy. This belief completely paralyzed me. I would sit in meetings and hear younger people talk about analytics and conversion funnels, and it was like they were speaking a different language. I felt like a total dinosaur. I honestly thought I'd have to become a programmer just to stay relevant in my own industry. The breakthrough happened when I forced myself to just open the Facebook Ads Manager. And as I started clicking around, I had a massive realization. At its core, this wasn't about code. It was about people. It was about figuring out what a customer wants, creating a message that connects, and telling a great story. Suddenly, the fear just vanished. I realized this was my world. Strategy, psychology, communication, just in a new format. My decades of experience with people weren't a problem. It was my secret weapon. The tech is just the tool. The real skill is connecting with the human on the other side of the screen. And I was already a pro at that. Young people have all the advantages. This one drove me crazy every single day. I'd watch younger team members get all the praise in meetings because they had a native understanding of some new app. Meanwhile, my ideas, which were based on years of market knowledge, were completely ignored. The feeling in the room was always that youth meant innovation, and experience meant you were out of touch. I remember one project where we had a massive customer retention problem. The team was obsessed with building a new, complicated app. I argued over and over that our data showed the real problem was a total breakdown in customer trust. something an app could never fix. They politely dismissed my concerns as old-school thinking. I felt powerless and angry, like my experience was now a liability. The big shift came months later when the app launched, and failed. It failed so badly that we lost a major client. In the meeting afterward, the CEO asked for different ideas. I presented my original analysis on the trust issue, but this time I came with a full strategic plan to fix it. The plan wasn't built on new tech. It was built on a deep understanding of our customer relationships. And it worked. That was the moment I realized the lie wasn't that young people had advantages. It was my belief that their advantages were the only ones that mattered. When you combine youthful energy with seasoned expertise, the whole team wins. I finally understood my real value. If any of this is hitting home for you, smash that comment button below and tell me which of these lies you're fighting right now. Seriously, writing it down is a huge first step, and I promise you are not alone in this fight. You need to learn everything at once. Now that my motivation was back, I made a classic mistake. I tried to learn everything all at once. This is lie number 4. I thought that to become a digital marketer, I had to become a master of SEO, content, email, ads, social media, and analytics, all at the same time. I signed up for 5 different online courses, subscribed to a dozen blogs, and had podcasts running constantly. My brain was just flooded with information. I was bouncing between completely different topics, getting overwhelmed by advice that contradicted itself, and I wasn't retaining any of it. Instead of feeling smarter, I felt more incompetent than ever. I was putting in 12-hour days learning after my actual job, and the only thing I got was complete mental burnout and a feeling of failure. My attempt to catch up was actually making me fall even further behind. The breakthrough came from a super simple piece of advice from a mentor. He told me, "Stop trying to be an expert in everything. Pick one area and master it." He explained that you only get truly good at something through focused, step-by-step learning. So I did it. I put everything else on pause and decided to master one thing: Google Ads. I put all my focus there. I studied it, practiced it, and got good at it. For the first time in years, I felt competent again. That single win gave me the confidence to pick the next skill, and then the next, building one on top of the other. The lie was that I had to do it all at once. The truth is that you build real mastery one piece at a time. Your past failures predict your future. This was the final boss, the ultimate obstacle. Lie number 5. Your past failures predict your future. After years of success, my last few years just felt like one long failure. The textbook I couldn't read, trying to do 5 courses at once. It was all piling up. A voice in my head started whispering, "See? You tried and you failed. This is who you are now. You're not built for this." This belief is so dangerous because it turns past events into a permanent life sentence. I started to believe that because I failed in those specific ways, I was just a fundamental failure. Stanford researcher Carol Dweck calls this a fixed mindset, the belief that your talents are set in stone. It almost convinced me to just give up. Why try anything if the result is already decided? The final shift happened when I learned about her other idea, the growth mindset. It's the simple but powerful idea that your abilities are not fixed. They can be developed with effort and hard work. This concept doesn't fix everything overnight, but it totally reframes what failure means. Failure isn't the final verdict. It's just a piece of data in the learning process. I realized my failures weren't about my ability. They were about the terrible methods I was using. The problem wasn't me, it was my system. That was a liberating thought. It gave me permission to try again, but this time to do it differently. I started looking for learning programs designed for experienced professionals, not for kids right out of college. And when I couldn't find exactly what I needed, I decided to build it myself. That's how my company, SkilloraDigital, was born. I finally understood that my past failures didn't dictate my future. They were the necessary steps that prepared me to build it. So, there they are, the 5 falsehoods: that you're too old, that it's too technical, that younger people have all the advantages, that you have to learn everything right now. And the most destructive of all, that your past failures define you. For years, I let these lies build a prison around my potential and nearly force me out of my own career. But at 45, I learned that you can silence that inner critic. You can, and you absolutely should, challenge the limiting stories you tell yourself. Your experience is not baggage. It is your foundation. Your ability to learn is not gone. It is just waiting for you to find the right method to unlock it. If you're feeling stuck, invisible, or scared that it's too late for you, please hear me on this. It is never too late to dismantle the beliefs holding you back and to start writing the next chapter of your life. The game is not over. You just need to learn the new rules. Start by grabbing your free digital marketing career roadmap for 40+ professionals with the link in the description below. Discover the exact step-by-step plan that's helped 500+ professionals transition into digital marketing. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, I invite you to give it a like and subscribe. I'll be sharing a ton more practical strategies for mid-career professionals who don't just want to survive in today's world, they want to thrive.